All right, guys, I'm going to need you to get out your notebooks, get the glue sticks, and get ready to glue some of this stuff down. The glue has been moved off of my desk into the little gray bin on the rolling cart by the panel. You can borrow my glue if you need it. Just make sure to return it, please, with the lids on. You are going to get the little paper, the purple paper, to glue in for your Unit 4 title slip. Glue it in the same way that you glued in your Unit 1 and your Unit 2. We didn't glue a slip for Unit 3. We skipped it, but glue it in the same way where you fold over the little corner just a little bit. Make sure you only glue it to the one page and you don't glue multiple pages together. After you are done doing that, unpause this video and title page 74 vocabulary and title page 75 vocabulary continued and scratch work. You may use page 74 and 74 only for your vocabulary, and that's all the space that you need. Then you can use 75 just as scratch work. Or if you need both 74 and 75 for your vocabulary, then by all means have both. But 74 is vocabulary, 75 is vocabulary continued and scratch work. It is 17 vocabulary words. If you skip spaces at all on your vocabulary words, you will definitely need 2 pages. But you can accomplish it in 1 page. If you accomplish it in 1 page, that's perfect. 75 will just be scratch work. And then you're going to glue the little sheet that is titled Parts of an Expression to page 76. Pause this video. Once you are done, you can resume. All right, so for your vocabulary, you are going to write these words. So once they are all on your screen, pause it. Finish writing all of the words, and then unpause your video. The first word is going to be factor as a verb. That is to rewrite an expression as a product of factors. Equivalent expressions. 2 or more expressions in different forms that always name the same value. Factor as a noun. A number or expression with parentheses that is multiplied. Like terms. 2 or more terms that have the same variable factor. Term, a number, a variable, or a product of numbers, variables, and or expressions. A term may include an exponent. Determine, to determine something to decide something based upon evidence or facts. You might be told to determine the answer or determine the solution to a problem. Expression, a group of numbers, variables, and or operation symbols that represent a mathematical relationship. Expressions don't have equal signs. Explain is to tell about something in a way that is easy to understand. Pause this video, finish writing these definitions before you move on to the rest of the definitions. All right, your next word is modify, to change some parts. Equation, a mathematical statement that uses an equal sign to show that 2 expressions have the same value. Unknown, the value you need to find to solve the problem. An unknown, we use a variable for our unknown. Balance, to adjust something so that the amounts on all sides are equal. Reason, to think about something in order to form a conclusion. Reasoning, the process of thinking about something in order to form a conclusion. Coefficient is a number that is multiplied by a variable. For example, in the term 2x, the number 2 is your coefficient. Product, the result of multiplication. And the last one is variable, a letter that represents an unknown number. So I need you to pause the video, finish writing your vocabulary, and then come back to the video. All right, so on page 76, you should have this sheet glued down. You're going to list this in. So we have 4m plus 12. The 4, which is attached to your m, that is your coefficient. That m is your variable, and that positive 12, that is your constant. 4m is a term. Positive 12 is a term. The whole thing, 4m plus 12, that's an expression. All right, so name the coefficient, variable, and constant in 3r minus 4. I know on your paper it's really dark and you really cannot see this too well. Off to the side, you can write 3r minus 4 so you can see it, and then list your coefficient, your variable, and your constant. Go ahead and pause the video and do that. All right, so our coefficient is 3, the variable is r, and the constant is -4. If you forgot to put the negative, go back and fix it. Remember at the beginning of the year when we circled our integers and we circled our terms, you have to include the sign that is in front of the number or in front of the term. That sign goes with it. The bottom part, guys, you're all smart enough, and I know that you can write 3 different expressions that have the constant 6 and the variable s, so we're just going to skip that part and move on. All right, this worksheet that you have now, these questions, I want you to write down every single thing in the order that I'm writing it and doing it on my paper. It needs to be written exactly like it. So Jake cuts out 5 pointed stars. They are different sizes, but they all have the same shape. The side links within each star are the same. To find the perimeter of each star, Jake uses the expression 12L plus 1/2 minus 4L minus 8.5 plus 2L plus 8, where L is the side length of the star. Find the perimeter of a star with side length 6 inches. Show your work. All right, so our first step is to write the problem where you actually have room to work it. So we write the problem, and now we just need to follow our order of operations. Parentheses and exponents, there's nothing. Multiplication and division, nothing that we can do. So we're at the point of adding and subtracting. So we're going to put our shapes. We're going to put circles around every term that has the variable L and squares around all of our constants. Next line down, you're going to rewrite it with all of your squares and circles with each other. So we have 12L minus 4L plus 2L plus 0.5 minus 8.5 plus 8. You work 2 terms at a time. So 12L minus 4L is 8L. So you write 8L and then you bring everything else down. Now we do 8L plus 2L, which is 10L. You write 10L and bring everything else down. Now we're done with our L's and we just work our constants. 1/2 minus 8.5, 1/2 minus 8.5. That is -8. Write it and bring everything else down. So now we have 10L minus 8 plus 8. Notice we have a -8 plus 8. Those are additive inverses, and we know that additive inverses equals 0. So the simplified version of this expression is 10L. Once you get 10L, you are not done, however, because we just did the work to get to the part where we can actually solve it. We need to look back up where it tells us that the side length is 6. So L equals 6. So we're going to substitute 6 in for L, which means that now we have 10 times 6, which tells me that it is 60 inches. So the answer is 60 inches. All right, your next problem. R negative 1/3 times negative 3m plus 6 minus 12 plus 15m and 2 times 1 minus 2m equivalent expressions. Show why or why not. So what we need to do here is follow our order of operations to simplify both of these. So I'm going to put my circles and my stars, circles and squares around the first one because order of operations says parentheses and exponents first, and I can work within my parentheses. So I have to add and subtract in my parentheses first and then write the simplified version. Once I work my parentheses, my new problem is negative 1/3 times 12m minus 6. Following my order of operations, I now need to do my multiplication and division. So I need to distribute my negative 1/3 to the 12m minus 6. So that's going to be negative 1/3 times 12m and negative 1/3 times negative 6. And we all know that multiplying fractions is no problem. Top times top, bottom times bottom. So do the multiplication of both of those fractions. And whenever I do that multiplication, I now have my simplified term, my simplified expression for this one. Now I need to solve the other one, 2 times 1 minus 2m. There's nothing I can do within the parentheses, so I move on to my second step of my order of operations, which is to distribute the 2 to the 1 and to the negative 2m. When I distribute, that is 2 times 1 and 2 times negative 2m, which gives me 2 times negative 4m. I need to rearrange this equation to where it's in the same order and in the correct order and put the variables first. The term with the m has a negative in front of it, so that is a negative 4m that goes to the front and a positive 2 that goes to the back. Whenever we look at it, we notice they are the same, so I know that yes, they are equivalent expressions because they are the same. pause it, finish copying this down.